Connecting to our suffering. When we begin to breathe mindfully and listen to our bodies, we become aware of feelings of suffering that we've been ignoring. We hold these feelings in our bodies as well as our minds. Our suffering has been trying to communicate with us to let us know it is there, but we have spent a lot of time and energy ignoring it. When we begin breathing mindfully, feelings of loneliness, sadness, fear, and anxiety may come up. When that happens, we don't need to do anything right away. We can just continue to follow our in-breath and our out-breath. We don't tell our fear to go away. We recognize it. We don't tell our anger to go away. We acknowledge it. These feelings are like a small child tugging at our sleeves. Pick them up and hold them tenderly. Acknowledging our feelings without judging them or pushing them away, embracing them with mindfulness is an act of homecoming. This is from a section in Thich Nhat Hanh's The Art of Communication, a book that changed my life last year when I was in a very, very, very dark place in my life. Probably the worst year of my life, 2021. Probably the worst year of my life. I cried every day. I made a commitment to myself, a covenant with myself that I would choose to be happy. And I made that covenant on, I think, July 17th, 2021, that I was going to be happy. I said from that day on, I was going to be happy. And I cried still every day that year. Well, I wound up in Tanzania on a trip working on a show called Unitalent Show, which you can check out season 4 right now. You can look up Maroon TV on YouTube. You can go find more clips. The company that produces Unitalent Show is Maroon Entertainment in Tanzania. They're located in Dar es Salaam. You can look up the Instagram page for Unitalent Show is at Unitalent Show on Instagram. That's UNITALENTSHOW, Unitalent Show. But I worked on this show and we had gotten on winter break and I didn't know what to do with myself. I was stuck. My boss went to his home. So I took myself to Mlimani City and I went to the bookstore. I found this book, The Art of Communication. This is part 2 of The Power of Words in our series where we are discussing self-love in Black men. And communication is so important. Reading is so important. I mean, this book really was the first book that I picked up for my own personal development, and it began to change my life. And in the moments reading the first 3 chapters of this book, where it talks about how we communicate with ourselves, our inner talk, I learned a lot. I learned a lot that changed my life. Changed my life for the better. I really needed it. And so, for everyone watching, I think that you need to read that book as well, The Art of Communication by Thich Nhat Hanh. So, last week we covered 4 words: love, esteem, confidence, and accountability. Now, we're not going to delve any deeper into those words, but we are going to do a little bit of self-talk work today. We are going to we're going to discuss the words that we use when we're talking about ourselves and our community, because our community, who we identify with, is a part of who we are and who we identify with, obviously, right? That's a part of our identity. That's why we identify with them. See, I'm just messing. So it's very important for us to really talk about our self-talk. And I wanted to cover some things, negative self-talk, because why would anybody choose that on themselves? And the thing is, most of the time, we don't choose it for ourselves. We're just conditioned to do it. We're just taught to do it. We have people in our lives who tell us that we're not going to amount to anything. Or we have people in our lives who say that we're going to be a star, that we're going to be a greatest. And it puts so much pressure on us that we think, we're comparing ourselves to all of these stars and celebrities at such a young age. And then we think that we're never going to amount to anything. But we don't realize that they had so much more time to get ready to get where they are. And for those of us who have lived our life and lived a long life, we're in our 40s, we're in our 50s, we're in our 60s, we're in our 70s, you can still choose life. You can still choose to live life, and you can still choose a better life for yourself. Because when we follow our hearts and we find happiness and joy, that is where we find success. But so I want to address negative self-talk really quick, because what does negative self-talk do for us other than bring us down, other than teach us that we are not worthy of what we look for in our lives, right? I mean, I want you to think back to episode 1 where we were talking about a black man's reality. Go back to that. Think about the senses. Think about what you see in your world, right? That pothole on the street, you recognize it, you drove over it, you tripped on it. It's a hindrance. You see it and you think, ugh, bleh. That's a part of your environment. When you see graffiti on the walls, you think, this is beautiful, this is art. This is what makes it lively. This is what makes where I live lively. But then you hear chatter. Folks around town, they know who you are. They pay way too much attention to what you're doing with your life, what your family is doing. They counting your pockets. They pocket watching. Why they all up in your business, right? That causes mistrust. That causes unease. That causes anxiety. It causes fear. It causes more barriers, more defenses to be built because other people are plotting against you. Because that's what it feels like. Especially when people are targeting you. Why are they saying these things, right? So we need to pay attention to our environment, right? Because when you see these things and that's how you interpret them, it's like, oh, that leads to pain, right? The rumors, when you think the people are talking about us, talking negatively about us, now we think, oh my gosh, I can't feel comfortable in my community. I need to go. When we feel like we can't even drive or run around in a neighborhood without having to worry about somebody, right? It says, I'm unsafe here. You get yourself into a state of survival. You get into the survival mode, and obviously you're not going to be thinking about the things and the opportunities and the options that you have. No. Every dream and idea at that point becomes, well, a dream and an idea, a thought, something insignificant, something intangible. While other dreamers are thinking about how to make that dream a reality because those dreams and ideas are looked at as opportunities. And we can take opportunities. Opportunities are tangible. We can take opportunities. We can't take dreams. See what I'm saying? But so I want to go back to what we were talking about just now. Thich Nhat Hanh in the book says that the things that are hurting us, the pain inside of us, the trauma, the anxiety, the fear, it's like a little child. You're not going to shun a little child. You're not going to beat up a little child. You're not going to hurt that child. You're not going to berate that child. You're not going to throw that child outside, right? So many things that are inside of us that are beautiful, And if we disregard any of it, we're discarding a piece of ourselves. What this book is touching on, the section that I read, it's addressing the fact that we have all these things in our reality. We have all these things that are bringing us pain. We have all of these things that once we perceive them and once we internalize them, and we push them away, we're pushing away a part of ourselves. And when we look into the mirror, all we can see are the things that we're most worried about. All we can see are the things that we're trying not to be. It's called the mirror effect. The mirror effect in negative self-talk, it's exposing what you don't like about yourself. The mirror effect. You're looking at the mirror. You're not seeing yourself. You're seeing what you don't want to see. The mirror effect. Because you're projecting. You're projecting what you see on the world onto yourself. You can't take it so personally. Really, really. You can't take it so personally because everybody has their own thing going on. In fact, even if somebody does bring you up in a conversation, they're probably talking about their problems. They're probably talking about their ailments. They're probably talking about their hurt. Why? Because focusing on other people takes the attention off of themselves and therefore makes them feel okay because they're hurting inside, because they're pushing away a piece of themselves, because they can't acknowledge that they have work that needs to be done. But you're here because you're doing the work, right? Right. So we're going to work on the negative self-talk, right? Because we can't have this, oh, I'm moving on colored people time. People colored. We can't sit here and walk around acting like, oh, he on colored people time. Because you know what that says? It says colored people are always late. The thing is, if you move on your time is very valuable. And if you bring in value and you're doing it with respect, you can move on your own time. You start making your own money, you can move on your own time. So don't let people sit here and talk bad about our people just because we can be a little late sometimes. Or an hour late sometimes. Hey, it wasn't about the destination, it was about the journey. And let me tell you something, life is a movie. A lot of twists and turns happen in life. Now, I'm a person who's always late, so maybe that's just me excusing my tardiness. But I mean, just think about that. We don't say, hey, they on white people time. And then we think white people time is 15 minutes early or an hour early. Right? Because what does that say? They're punctual, da-da-da-da-da-da. See what I'm saying? Now, colored people time is all about being late, always being behind. We're characterizing our people as people who are behind, but we set the precedent, right? So why would we say that? Why would we say that about ourselves and our people? Why would we use the N word talking about our brothers and sisters? Now, I know negro, negro, these are terms that refer to the color black, other languages, and a dialect of English that is not necessarily spoken today. But to use the N word the way that the N word is used is to say that your brother is a slave. It's to say that your sister is a slave. Why would we use the B word for our sisters? Like, see, I need to refer to Kirby on y'all. Kirby said, if you want a bad B, get a puppy. But your sister ain't no puppy. And if you can treat one of your sisters like a dog, you're going to let your other brothers treat your sister like a dog. I'm just saying. This is all a reflection on you. How do you want to uphold your world? Right? That's what the negative self-talk is about. Whatever you have internalized inside is what you perpetuate outside, is what you bring up. So if all you think about is anger, think about that. If all you think about is anger and aggression, how is that going to manifest in the world? With more anger and aggression. Right? If you think about other people and think about anger and aggression, what do you think will manifest? If you think about love, what do you think will manifest? If you think about distrust, what do you think will manifest? See, I made it a rule. I made it a rule at this point. It's like if I if I am with you and I can't trust you, I shouldn't be with you. Because if I can't trust you, it's not because you did anything wrong. It's because I feel insecure. If I can't trust you to go out by yourself and to live your life and to come back home to me, we shouldn't be together. Or I need to be in therapy, which everybody should get therapy at some point in their life. It helps, especially if you want it to help. But we're not talking about that. But it's a reflection, right? If I trust myself, if I know that I'm that guy, if I know that I'm Hemi Neutron, why would I worry about her going out and being with somebody else? Because if I find out, kick rocks, I know I can find somebody else. I ain't worried. Come on now. What I look like worrying about somebody who don't want to be with me. Think about that for yourself. What do you look like chasing things, holding on to things that you don't even want for yourself? That aren't even for you, that don't even want you, that don't even want you to succeed. Think about that. So we're going to work on this right now. This is what we're going to work on. Right now, pull out a pen and a piece of paper because this is what we're going to do right now. I need you to write down some affirmations. We're going to go through affirmations first, and then we're going to get into internal dialogue. Right? So here are a few things that I want you to write down for yourself. I love your favorite thing about yourself. I want you to write down, I love that about yourself. So write down, I love my hair. My hair is everything, right? I love my smile. I love my voice. Whatever your favorite thing is, start off with that. I love myself. If it's just yourself, say I love myself. If you can't think of anything, say I love myself. Always start with yourself first. Second, I want you to say I am stronger than I thought. You can handle anything that you are facing. Nothing is bigger than you. Nothing is greater than you. You can handle anything. Why? Because you're still here. And if you're still here, that means that you are undefeated. Write down that. I am undefeated. Next, I don't talk negatively about myself. With that, right, I talk positively about myself. I think positively about myself. I live abundantly. Write that down. Say I love myself. Write it in all caps. See, we needed to hit that twice in the list because that's important. Write down another thing. I've been here with myself through everything, and I'm still here, so I'm good. Because if you got yourself, you good. Because we have to love ourselves before others can truly love us. We have to trust ourselves before others can truly trust us. And before we can truly trust other people. So let's affirm those things for ourselves, right? Let's do that. Come on. All right. So now we're going to get into internal communication. Now, after I list out the things that I want you to do, I want you to pause the video. But let me get through this first. So with your pen and paper, write down the things that you think about yourself. Close your eyes real quick. Write down what you think about yourself. In your head, whatever thought comes to your mind, just take a whole minute, take 2 minutes. Write it down. I'm pausing the video. Pause the video right here. Okay, I know I'm not fooling anybody. I didn't, whatever. Okay. Now that you have written down what you think about yourself, I want you to write down who those phrases sound like. If you'll never amount to anything sounds like your mother, write down your mother. Write down her name. If you're going to be as great as Martin Luther King Jr. is what you're thinking, and that's your uncle or your dad, write down that person. If you think, oh, you're a weirdo, and that's some guy in your class or some girl in your class, write that down. If you hear you're a creep, write down who said that. If somebody has called you contradictory, be like, oh, men are contradictory. Oh, y'all think wrong. Write down whoever said that to you. Please, it's okay. I want you to write down these people because it's important to understand where these phrases are coming from. And this is not something that I made up. This is something that I've just read in so many different books, heard from so many different entrepreneurs and psychologists. We need to understand where the source of these thoughts are coming from. These intrusive thoughts influence our entire life because it influences how we think about ourselves, how we see ourselves, right? So I want you to take this. I want you to write down those phrases that you think about yourself. Write down who has said it to you or who it sounds like. I need you to have a conversation with those people. Or I need you to write a letter to that person, even if you don't send it to them. Write that letter. Tell them how it makes you feel. Think about how that makes you feel. Tell them. It hurts. It makes me feel good, but it places me in such high standards that I don't think I'll actually reach the goal. Right? Write about that. Tell them what's going on. Tell them how it hurts. Tell them how it feels, because we need to understand that, well, we're not our thoughts. You're more than your thoughts. You're more than ideas. You're more than what other people see you as. You're more than what other people have told you about yourself. You're more than the stereotypes. You're more than that. You're a whole person. You're you. So I want you to think about yourself right now. Think about what you want to think about yourself. Think about, initially acknowledge what you already like about yourself, what you already admire about yourself. Acknowledge things that you have done. Just like getting a good night's rest. Just like I made honor roll in the first grade. Just like I got a trophy in baseball. I want you to acknowledge all of those things. I want you to acknowledge any and everything that makes you feel like, okay, I did something that worked. Even if it's in the past, even if it's from when you were 3 years old, even if it's saying something funny or stupid in the park and it made somebody else laugh. If you ever made somebody smile, I want you to acknowledge that. So write down, take 2 minutes, take 3 minutes, take as much time as you want. Just pause this video and write down some things that you feel accomplished about, and write down how that makes you feel. Now that you're back, okay? Now that you're back, I want you to think about that. Everything that you can praise about yourself is in the past. And all the things that people have said about you are in the past. They are not your present. They are not your right now. They are not your world right now. That's in the past. It's gone. Think about that. You write your history. You write your future. And you get to work on the present. There's no sense in worrying about the past and the future if you don't feel good about right now. So let's work on right now. Let's work on right now. In this moment, look at that list of things that you have achieved. Look at the things that you like about yourself. You can always work on those things. You're still here. You're still here. This is your time. This is your time. Say it. This is your time. Say it. I love myself. Say it. I live in abundance. Say it. I'm living. Say it. I'm choosing to live. Say it. I say yes to life. You're still here. The fact that you're watching this means that you care. The fact that you're watching this means that you love yourself. And you just want to love yourself more. You want to love yourself better. That's what we're talking about today. This is the time. Look at that list. Write down the letters. Write down a letter to yourself. Tell yourself, all of this negative self-talk is not me. It's not what I want to be. It's not who I am right now, currently. This is who I was. Just like me last year when I made my decision to be happy. When I said I was going to say yes to life. When I said I was going to live and I was going to live happily because I got my little brother and little sister to look after, because I got my mom to support. You have to make the choice to live for your future. And you have to make the choice every single day to live for your future. You don't have to know what your purpose is. You serve it by making the decision. It starts with the decision. The decision right now is to say yes to life. The decision right now is to say that I love myself. and I will love myself, and I continue to love myself. Say it until you believe it. Make the decision until it becomes so natural to you that you cannot stop. This is your time. That's the action steps, though. Whenever you have a negative thought, I want you to write it down. I want you to write down who it sounds like, and I want you to write a letter. I want you to throw away the letter. Burn it. Get rid of it. Right after that, write an affirmation. This is my time. I am the king. I am excellence. I am the pharaoh. I am the boss. I am the boss of my life. I am the CEO of my life. I'm the man. Hemi neutral. I don't... Do something, say something, write something that just makes you smile, makes you feel good about yourself. Hype yourself up. Hype yourself up, because if there's one thing that I learned from my brother Waladi when I was just in Colorado, it's that you got to hype yourself up when you're doing your work. And when you're doing your work, you got to keep hyping yourself up, because that's the only way to keep doing it. Emphasize that stuff. Hype yourself up. Gas yourself. This is your time. Light your fire. Keep your fire going. This is your time. Everything that you say to yourself is going to carry its own weight. It's going to have its own fire. It's going to have its own fuel. Negative self-talk only dims your light. Negative self-talk only hurts you. Choose better. Be better. You deserve better. This is your time. That's the power of words. Instead of saying but in every sentence, say and. Right? Because what does but do? But says everything before this doesn't matter. You could say, I passed all my classes, but they were all C's. No sirree. C's get degrees. I passed all my classes. Yes, this is your time. Don't say, I passed all my classes, but. Say, I passed all my classes. Say, I got a raise, and I'm going to treat myself this weekend. Say, I got a raise, and I got a bonus that I'm going to start an investment portfolio with. Say, you know, my date didn't go that well, and I'm glad I know that she is not for me, or he, or they. And is accepting a new opportunity, but don't disregard your life. Add to it, and plus it. Disney says plus it, plus the idea, plus the opportunity, plus the creativity. Add to it. That's the power of words. Now, if you really want to get more into it with mental health, please make sure that you go and follow AUC Chill on Instagram. That's AUCCHILL. AUC Chill, Counseling Humans and Life Lessons, of which I am the president, class 2022-2023. You will find so much content there where we are really talking about and getting into how to just live a better life. Counseling Humans and Life Lessons, teaching you, educating people on their mental health, on their wellness, on their overall wellness. Choose it. Choose better for yourself. Surround yourself. Immerse yourself in this stuff. This is what you deserve. I'm Anthony J. the Wolf Hunter. I know that was a weird closeout, but I'm running out of time. So I'll see y'all next week. This is a test to make sure that I'm speaking loud enough and also to make sure that I am in focus. And I hope that I am in focus. Let's get this party started. Let's get this party started. Hey. Let's get this party started. Let's get this party started. Hey. Hey, wiggle it, hey. Wiggle it, hey. Hey, wiggle it, hey. Hey, wiggle it, okay. Okay. Oh, oh, okay, okay, okay. Okay. Anyway, okay. Okay, okay. We hype. Okay, we hype. Woo! Okay.